Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday night chat. Rosie's not going to be here tonight, so you just have to put up with us guys. There's a couple other links out there. Maybe they'll come in, maybe they won't. We'll see. But for right now, it's just us three guys. And and Daniel just popped in right at the wrong or right moment. I don't know which.
At least you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you. All right, now I'm gonna let you two guys do a little intro right quick. Blue, go right ahead. You can do an intro. Go ahead, Blue.
I don't wanna. Hey, thanks for the invite. Good to be back. It's been about a month, I think, since I've been on. Starting back on to daylight, so hopefully I'll be available on the Tuesday slot again. So good to see everybody. The only thing I really got going on is the giveaway, the kick-ass sign, custom design, painted, decaled. I don't know. It's pretty. It's hanging over here. All you got to do is make me a VR, be a subscriber, and in the VR, just tell me what kind of custom sign you want. So I think I'm up to 17 VRs already, which is actually kind of, I don't know. I'm pretty pumped about that. I really didn't think I'd get that many VRs for it, but we still got, I think the 9th of this month is when I'm cutting it off, and then we'll figure out a way to do the drawing after that. So good to see you guys. Good to see the side chat filling up and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Daniel, would you like to do an intro?
Well, hi, I'm glad you can hear me now, and thanks for having me on.
Well, you're welcome, and you're always welcome in my chat. Before I get too carried away, is there anything you guys want to talk about up front to start with?
I actually do have one. Daniel, you got anything?
Not right off the bat, no.
All right. This actually, and I've been reading conflicting stories, so I'm not sure which one is the correct one yet. But I got hooked on it about 2 days ago, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to do a lot of research on it. But I don't know, maybe you guys have heard the breaking news that what they call him, the Golden Gate Killer, or the Golden State Killer, serial killer, was finally arrested. This guy was responsible for hundreds of burglaries, like 50 rapes, at least 12 murders, and it was like between 1974 and 1986. So they finally made an arrest on it. And did you guys hear how they actually cracked that case? Yeah. So you guys are hearing, or TR shaking his head. Tell your kids, if you have ever committed a crime, tell your kids not to use any ancestry.com type DNA sites to match what type of DNA genetics you have, to what ethnicity you may be, or what country you may come from, because that's how they ended up catching this guy. The police department uploaded his DNA, or the DNA of a suspect from one of these rapes or murders, into some of these web-based DNA searches or profiles, and it linked it back to I think it was like his great-granddaughter is the first DNA match that came up. And then they just started backtracking from there, and they ended up arresting him. I don't know how old he is. He's older than dirt right now. He's in a wheelchair. He looks like he's going to die tomorrow. But I just thought that was a very interesting tact by law enforcement. And as far as I know, there's nothing illegal about it, because they're just uploading DNA to a public, basically it's a public site, a public domain, and they apparently paid for the service, and it came back with a match, and I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on this?
It's definitely you're right on the edge of, did they do something wrong or did they? It's right on the edge, because it is a public company, and in the all the fine print, they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want with your DNA. And some of them ain't as bad as others, as far as how much they share it or what have you. I got one in my truck right now that I'm supposed to send in or whatever. Sonia bought it for me for my birthday, just curiosity. And I'm still kind of like, but it's not the one that tells you, oh, you're kin to this person, this person, this person. The one I got, just like, you got, 10% Irish, 10% this, 15% that, whatever. But at the same time, it's still kind of like, I don't know. I'm probably going to do it because I just really don't have anything to hide, at this point anyway. So,
Well,
what do you think?
For one, I'm glad they caught this guy, so that way at least some justice can be served. But with all this technology and everything, and my biggest fear of what's going on is all these tentacles getting into our homes and our lives that, we're just giving it up. You got, smartphones and computers that can be turned on without your, permission and get spied on. Smart meters, going on your electric, telling how many people's in the house. And this is just one more thing of information that people are just volunteering and giving it up.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the big thing that's going to. I don't want to say law enforcement did any wrongdoing, because this is a first, as far as I'm aware, that they took a suspect DNA and uploaded it to one of these sites. But I'll just use myself for an example. Let's say 20 years ago, I was a rapist and I raped, 50, 60 people. And for whatever reason, 20, 25, 30 years has passed, and I do it on my own. I think, oh, I'm safe. They didn't catch me. They got nothing. So a family member, gets me the DNA pack, and I swab and I send it in, and I end up getting caught. I don't think there's anything. There's nothing. If you sign up for the service, you know what you're getting. And it goes the same thing with your kids. Your kids aren't turning you in on purpose. However, they did it of their own free will to put their DNA out there, and it ended up getting matched up, and there we go. I don't know. I think this one's going to turn out to be a good one.
I'm all for it. If you did the crime, get caught, do the time, but it's just kind of wild that, how fast this technology's improved.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and go and, find this thing.
I think we're, some people are kind of like, let me think about this for a minute. It's not your medical records. It'd be one thing if it's using your medical records against you, that doctor-patient confidentiality, blah, blah, blah. This, client lawyer confidentiality, like the shit's going on with Trump. This is something that people volunteer to do with a public company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of out of that realm. So I'm a little torn about it, to be honest with you.
Well, I've also, if you do some searches on I don't want to call them horror stories, but there are some people that their lives are completely uprooted because they may have had, a college life, and the dude may have slept with hundreds of women and got a couple of them knocked up, didn't think anything of it. And, maybe he didn't know he got these women knocked up, which is some of the, like, the worst horror stories that I'm seeing. graduates college, starts his career, starts a family. His kids get him a DNA test for, because, hey, you want to know what your heritage is. You want to know this. Oh, yeah, that's an awesome idea. Dad swabs his mouth, sends it in. And then all of a sudden, all these little leaves start popping up on his screen. Oh, this is your kid. This is your kid. This is your kid. This is your kid. That's game changing. I mean, that's, I don't know.
But at the same time, that scenario, you kind of are obligated to. I mean, I see it both ways, but at the same time, I mean, if you do impregnate a woman and that's your kid, you kind of have an obligation to that. Now, you stepped into it and got found out through the side door, but it's still your kid.
Mm-hmm. So. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, but I mean, it's one of those deals where, let's say 20 years has gone by. You lost complete contact with this chick 20 years ago. She never told you had a kid. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you start having.
It's fucked. Oh, don't get me wrong. It's fucked up. I have a buddy of mine, a good friend of mine that I've worked with at several different places. He had a chick come up to him. Oh, this 16-year-old boy is yours. He done a DNA test. It was his kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had to pay child support, and she sued him for an extraordinary amount of money that he had to pay. But it was only like 2 years, and then he was done with it. But by then, the kid was already basically fucked up. He couldn't do nothing with the kid. He tried. He actually put effort in, taking fishing, the kind of stuff that we do. And this kid it's not that he wouldn't have embraced a kid, and he tried, but 16 years of her raising him by herself, he was like, I can't do nothing with him. He's a little shit, But he still had to pay for him.
Yeah, and I agree with reloading from the hot pot. He's like, how about charging her for not telling him? I don't know if you could actually charge the female for not saying anything, but if she goes after you for child support.
But that's pretty messed up. You go 16 years.
Yeah.
And then just all of a sudden show up because all of a sudden maybe, because that's what happened here, she found herself in a bad spot. So she was looking for money.
Right.
To, help her. Because, I mean, she was getting like fucking, I don't know, $500, $600, $800 a month out of this guy.
Wow.
Child support. Because his income was pretty decent. And then all of a sudden she was like, and I don't know how it went through the courts, but yeah, it was messed up. It's like, what the hell? And I mean, and he's married with other kids now, but that kid, that relationship was before the wife he has now. So fortunately, she didn't hold that against him because it was before them, and he's like, the hell am I supposed to do? I mean, he tried his best. Don't get me wrong. But that's messed up when you come back years later and say, "What? This is your kid."
Mm-hmm.
To me, basically, based on his situation, I think if you kept that information from a parent for 16 years or 17 years or 15 years, that kind of should fall under a just like a crime, like statute of limitations or something. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you can't come back 16 years later and file fucking child support.
You tell me today, and we verify it. I pick up from today on because I had no idea what was going on in the past. It's not like I hid from you. It's not like anything else. Mm-hmm. You just decided to keep this to your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just like government programs have. When you file for Social Security or VA benefits, you can only go back 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, put some limits on it.
Codable was having a hard time. He's trying to get in. Yeah, that just, you're punishing a father that was never the father. He was the sperm donor, no doubt. And it's not like he ever had a chance to, do the right thing and whatever it was, even if you and the girl didn't get along. But hey, that's my kid. Okay. It's all legit. I'll take care of him. I'll get him on the weekends or whatever. No, you come back these 16 and a half years old or whatever, and then say, oh, look, you owe child support and you got to raise this kid now.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is that?
Yep. And it's just sad that by the way you're making it sound, the court system actually agreed with her to some extent.
Yeah, they did.
That's bullshit.
That is bullshit.
Now, am I lagging? Or
not really.
Blue? Okay. Yeah, well, one thing, TR, you were in during Desert Storm and all that in the Navy.
Yes, correct.
Well, they've already got your DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all had to swab.
Yeah. That's why I'm not really that worried about that the one I got. Sonia's just really curious how much Indian heritage shows up in my DNA. Because I know I have it on both sides, but I'll do the thing and just say like 1% or something, or it may show up a quarter. Hell, I don't know. I just know there was Indian on both sides, and she's like really, really curious about it. And I'm like, and so she bought a one of those test things, and I'm kind of curious too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still got my damn scar from shooting myself.
1% Indian, 10% lead.
Yeah.
Hey, I just see somebody showed up a little bit ago in the side chat. I want to do a shout out for the Crazy Glocksman.
Scotsman or Glocksman? What did you say?
The Crazy Glocksman. Okay. He loves Glocks.
I tell you, somebody, a little shout out to somebody that don't do videos anymore on YouTube. Me and Chad Spearman have been communicating a little bit here lately, or the Fat Man, as most people know him. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, we're gonna get together and do a little fishing next week. He's from my area.
What did he end up stopping for? He just had enough of it for a while, and
I think YouTube was just how they was jerking everybody around and changing policies and stuff like that, and he just kind of, and also I really don't know. I can't put words in his mouth. I mean, he had a good following, and maybe he thought he was going to make a little bit more money than you do on YouTube, and that's probably not it, but. Just all their policy changes and stuff, I think it was irritating him. And he's like, fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. But he was near Sonia's place, and I just didn't have my phone nearby when he texted me. And so I tried to set up maybe next week we'd do a little fishing together.
There was another YouTuber I used to follow a lot, and he dropped off. I mean, he's gone, and I mean, it's been years, but he would always start out his videos, and I know you guys know him, at least you do, TR. It was like, yo, this is he was a big dude, big red beard, flat brim hat. He'd do that, yo, and then he'd say his screen name, and I can't.
I know who you're talking about. Young guy.
Yep.
He was on the other chat that me and you were on a lot.
Super fly fat guy.
Yeah, super fly fat guy. Yeah.
I mean, he literally just dropped. Done. I didn't see you guys
The,
later.
the last video I think I seen of him, he actually got a job and started working, and I never heard from him again. I mean, he may still be doing videos, and you know how YouTube is. Maybe it drops us or something. I don't know, but I hadn't seen him in a long time. That's for sure.
This has been a couple years, like back whenever he was making videos. I freaking one day I took like, man, it was like 2 hours. I dissected one of his videos. Remember how he used to like drive to the campsite or the little farm place they had? I took 2 hours and overlaid Google Maps and stuff, and I gave him point by point turns from the route he took, and I even told him what building he turned at to go back the field to his thing. That freaked him out. He wasn't pissed, but he's like, Jesus. He's like, I always thought I did a great job of covering things up and making things so nobody would know where I was, and it was just, it took me a while, and I had nothing else to do that night. So, but it's, you got to watch what you guys put out there, because if somebody's willing to take the time, they can they can definitely pinpoint you down. But I mean, I literally, with just Google Maps, I could give him street view photos of where he made his turns, and the ones that really like opened his eyes was where he made the turn to go back to the little campsite, and then I would just zoom as far down as I could on the paths through the fields that he took, and then through the woods, because you could see it the way the Google Maps were, and you could just see he had like a pavilion in the middle, and then the way I found it was the pavilion in the middle and the bus, and I was like, oh, there it is.
Yep. I know Sonia's a little bit weary of me putting too much info out about where she lives, just because, you know, she don't know, and she don't, you know, and I respect that, and so. Okay. Coda Boy's having internet problems. So I try not to, you know, post too detailed about the little lake and stuff, to, you know, this down there where her place is. So if you ever do see me post something on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, I try to keep the horizon out of it, and just show like the lake, you know, without the background and stuff like that. And she was kind of worried that it was pissing me off or something. I was like, no, I get it. I understand. I mean, yeah, I don't want people to know exactly where you live or be able to figure it out or whatever. I mean, I give away too much information about myself sometimes, but that's me, you know, it's my channel. But I think I'm still pretty vague. I mean, you'd have to really try. I mean, guys like Blue or Daniel, whatever, if they said, hey, I want to send you something, hell, I'll just give you my address, you know, but I know you guys, you know. Blue has my address. I have his address. But just far as every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there, of course, I don't tell where I live. They might be able to figure it out. I don't know. But I try to keep it somewhat vague.
Yeah, when I started thinking about that, because I got a lot of my videos shows, you know, the house, the barn, that kind of thing. I just posted a whole lot of videos of me shooting guns.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and change the subject. What do you think about the caravan? Not Mexicans, they're from mainly Honduras, I think. Coming across the border.
Oh, they're coming across now?
Yeah. But from what the last report I had, and I could be way off, they've only allowed 12 in so far.
Okay. And there's a ton of them down there sitting on the bridge or around the bridge.
Yep.
And hey, I know that we have quote unquote refugee status, and there's ways to go about it. Do it the right way, just like everything else.
Well, but here's a good question. Okay, if in your country, Honduras or El Salvador or whatever it is, you're fleeing on a refugee status, the next country you get into, why didn't you do it there?
Yep.
Why didn't you do it through Mexico? Mexico's a big fucking country.
Mm-hmm.
And you went from one end to the other trying to get to America. Why didn't you request refugee status in Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember. Mexico won't fucking let you.
Yep.
That's why. They helped you. Oh yeah, go ahead, go to America. You can't do it here, but you can do it over there. Go over there.
It'd be interesting to see if
Yep,
Mexico.
and everybody they let in, are they going to give them Social Security and welfare right off the bat?
More than likely.
Everybody they let in, are they going to give them welfare and Social Security?
Yeah. That's what they usually do. I'm not saying they've done it in this case, but that's what they usually do.
But if they've only left 12 in, if that's the last, I mean, that's very slim compared to the numbers that are sitting in Mexico right now.
Yeah. Well, there were hundreds, and out of the hundreds, now I'm not saying they won't eventually let all of them in, but out of the hundreds, they've only let 12 in so far. So actually, we're doing better than I thought we was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I ain't against immigration, but we let over 1 million people in a year legally. There's no reason for this. I mean, we let more people in our country legally than, unless some other stats are out there that I don't know about, than any other country in the world.
They need to put the kibosh and stop this, because there are so many people here that were born, grew up, and paid taxes, paid Social Security, and when they get down where they can't work because of some accident or disease, they can't even get it. They're just put on a waiting list to die.
Yeah. Yeah. Once the United States can take care of our vets, and I do mean housing, medical, can take care of our elderly that have worked their entire goddamn life and now all of a sudden can't afford medications plus the heating bill. Once the United States can take care of those people, by all means, we can start taking care of everybody else. I have no problem with that. But we gotta switch this. We're the World Red Cross. We're not. We are not the World Red Cross. We can't even take care of our own people. We put them off to the side to take care of others, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. That's bullshit. Bullshit. And it's true. I mean, I don't even know how to go into that. How we pamper those that don't want, and then ignore those that will try the best they can. We'll ignore you. Oh, you got a job making $5 an hour or $7.50 an hour? Nah, fuck you. We ain't got nothing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't have a job at all? Oh, well, fuck it. Let's put you in a house. Let's give you food stamps. Let's give you some income. What? How in the hell did this happen?
Mm-hmm. Now, I am not saying this in a racist manner, but I mean, have you seen all of the black people literally within the last 2 weeks starting to stand up and be like, we're black. That doesn't mean we have to be Democrats.
Yes, absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
I mean,
that is another big story.
And I'm not saying this to be racist. I mean, it's not a racist thing. I
It's
mean,
not racist. No,
blacks are coming up and saying it, which I think is awesome. They're
being shut down. Kion, however you say his name, is being. They've actually put out hits on his ass.
Mm-hmm.
There's been other rappers telling the Crips to take him out because he supported Trump. He's been saying conservative I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he's the guy that you need to be looking at and whatever. But he's like, hey, I like Candace Owens and what she's having to say. He met with Trump and says, you know, we need to do something about the disparity in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
And like having a dialogue. And he is being fucking chastised by the left horribly.
Of course he is.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. You can, you know, just damn near just call out for a black man to be fucking killed because you don't agree with his politics?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
No, which I don't know which one, but I know that I saw this quote. And again, this is not from my mouth, so not racist, but somebody said it was basically about black people have never gotten off the plantation.
Yeah.
And it's one of these black, I don't want to say a black leader because they're not a black leader because they're against that thought process. But you hate saying it, but damn, if you actually look into it, they're right.
Yeah. That's one of the things that young black conservative lady, Candace Owens, that's one of the things she says. That's one of the things she preaches or whatever, however you want to put it. Blacks are being kept on the plantation by liberals, by Democrats, by, you know, the welfare and the food stamps and everything else, and the voting and everything else. It's like, look, you don't have to live on the plantation. They're keeping you on the plantation. I got off the plantation. I'm my own person. I can think for myself. I can judge for myself. I can make my own mind up. I don't need you to tell me what I got to do and keep me down. I can flourish on my own without you. And they're chastising the shit out of her because she's like, look, you're still a fucking slave. And they want you to be a slave. And until you open your mind up and say, look, educate yourself, you don't have to be a slave. Because that's what it is. You're being a slave. I know I'm not wording this right, but
no, but I mean it's the same message. It's just the words might be a little different.
Yeah.
I've never seen, well, I don't want to say never, but it always seems like once you get the black individuals that are against Republicans, against all this, they will take that story and they will just fucking run with it. Every news broadcast, every news station. But you get these guys that are coming out and saying, look, I've kind of looked into this. I see where this is coming from. We need to change our mindset. They shut them down. And I didn't hear about the hits from the Crips or the Bloods or whoever in the hell.
Some rapper called for the Crips to take fucking Cayenne West out. I never heard of him, so I don't know how big he was. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if it made any difference or not. I was just listening to talk radio and heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, I mean, seriously, I mean, as much, and this is, I mean, I wish I had all this shit wrote down. We always fly off the cuff here. Republicans are the ones that freed the slaves. Republicans are the ones that gave the blacks the right to vote. Republicans are the ones that did the Civil Rights Act. Democrats have... KKK is Democrats. If you do your research and look at it, Democrats have been the ones that have always kept the black man down. And for a black person to realize that and kind of flip the switch and say, you know what? Republicans, they don't want to give me shit because I'm black. They don't want to give me special treatment because I'm black. They just say, hey, if you work and you build a business or you want to work here at this place or whatever, and you get whatever you do is based on your effort, you're the same as everybody else. I know I'm not probably saying that right, but it's like traditionally a conservative is like, you get whatever you put in. You get what you deserve based on what your output. You know, if I work 8 hours at this job, I get this amount of money. If I'm worth this, if I got this skill level, I get this. I work for a fucking living. I punch a clock. I don't expect to get more than the next guy, but just because of my color of my skin, and nobody else should either. And I definitely shouldn't be able to sit on my ass and get paid.
Exactly. And I don't care if you're black, white, or anything else. You sit on your ass and get paid, your ass is taking a drug test.
Yeah.
If I got to be drug tested to work to pay you, your ass is going to be drug tested. I don't care what color you are to get my money.
Yeah, absolutely.
That should be across the fucking nation immediately. And that's just, I know some
states take a drug test to get the job I got.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get hurt, and this has happened a couple of times, I have crushed a finger. I have torn ligaments out of my arms. I had to take a drug test before they would even fucking treat me.
Yeah, and that's part of your policies for your company, because they're afraid that if they drug test you and you come back positive, then the drugs is what made you do the injury. So they're going to immediately terminate you. So they're not out any money. Yep. So if you come back clean, then it's like, oh, it was just an accident. Here you go. Use the insurance you're on.
I smashed this finger right here. Just the end of it, just from this knuckle to here. I mean, just this bone was broken in 5 different places. The x-ray, it looked like a fucking jigsaw puzzle just thrown out on the table. This bone was in 5 different pieces. It looked like a Wile E. Coyote Bugs Bunny shit. This motherfucker was like this wide. I shit you not. It was flat as a pancake. And I had to do a drug test before they would even start, doing x-rays and what we can do about it and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, really?
Some bitch is flat. Get me some drugs.
Yeah. I will admit, though, the needles, when they put the Novocaine or whatever the hell it is, started shooting my finger with it. If you want to experience some pain, get a needle drove into your finger several times at an angle. Holy shit, it hurt worse than the injury itself.
Well, along with the city demographics, something that they tried here is trying to change our small town demographics. And don't mind that, it's my dog. Is they tried to move. They built some low income housing here, and they've got a lot of people from the city and moved them down here. Well, within 2-3 years, 70% of them switched parties because their kids learned what it was like to have a job. They got put out on farms to make money, sports teams, youth groups. I mean, I'm just glad it backfired on them down here because they tried to switch us from a Republican area into a Democrat area just by moving more people in.
See, now this is where my ignorance really irritates the hell out of me. In Pennsylvania, they did a complete redistricting, jurisdictional map, whatever, for different zones for voting. And I don't know what it means. I've tried to do the reading up on it, but as soon as I get like a paragraph into it, it's like my mouth like droops to the one side, my eye kind of goes, and I mean, I lose all focus because I can't follow what they're doing. But apparently they rescheduled, redid stuff because it was unfair to the Democratic Party. So we redid all of our zones in the entire state of PA to include, so that like let's say like where I'm at, we're in the, I'm just gonna quote unquote Bible Belt of PA, and we were, I mean, that's all it was. It was one big ass district, but now they have included, let's say Erie County, which is like a bigger city and obviously is Democratic, to try to even things out. And it's like, what in the hell? We've been doing this the same way for decades, and now you guys want to change it. I don't know if there's anybody out there in PA out in the external that might have some answers on that, but man, I'm sorry for you firearms. I mentioned the city Erie. He's like, I'm in Erie. Erie County, Ohio. I'm talking Erie County, Pennsylvania.
It's all a numbers game. I mean, once they can make, tip that scale, that way they can lock in the state and then just keep getting harder. I mean, the reason they would lose the votes is because, I mean, look at all the big cities. They want the tax money from everybody else and funnel it into them to keep their big voting base up. So, if they don't have that big block, they're not going to get it.
Pennsylvania went Republican for the first time in how long? I mean, it's whenever with the Trump election, and it just it was. I mean, we're like what? We're not even a year and 5 months into the presidency, and now all of a sudden we're already redistricting. Yeah, EMT, real fan. That one sentence, I'm already going because you used too big of words. I know he said it had something to do with Tom Wolfe.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, just a few years ago, if you go back and do a little research, Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Charles Schumer, all of them were downing illegal immigration just a couple years ago. Now they are like clasping onto it like this, like they will, their last hope. And it is, because they are finding out that they're losing the minority vote. And so they have found a new minority, and it is illegal immigrants. Not just immigrants, illegal immigrants, because they want this to go through, get the amnesty. Well, hell, in some states, it looks like they're letting the illegals vote, period. If you can get a driver's license, fuck it, you can vote. Texas, illegal or not.
Texas, for sure, you can get a driver's license.
Yeah. And I mean, seriously, I mean, just 4 or 5 years ago, if you go back and look at video, they were abhorrently against illegal immigration. They're like, we got to do something about this. This is wrong. Even Obama, we are a country of laws and blah, blah, blah. And then just a few years later, they're like, oh, no. Okay, let them in. All of them. They all did a 180. Because it's like, oh, shit, we're losing the black vote. We're losing the minority vote. You know why? Because blacks are waking up, and it's like, well, wait a minute. This ain't working out for us here. Maybe we should have opportunity to make $1. And this is actually a better plan. I don't know. I hate to say stuff like that. It almost makes it sound racist when we talk about it, but it's not. It's just like, fucking wake up. You know? Like I said a while ago, Jim Crow, KKK, all that stuff, that's all Democrats. Armament and axes. I'm in South Carolina, right beside you. Hey, Gil, Firearms 101, Greg, Midas, HRM, Chris, Fuzz, and everybody else that's out there.
Isn't technology wonderful? I'm having all kinds of issues. I got the dogs going nuts outside. Computer, it's not working.
They're asking me what kind of cigarettes I'm smoking. That's what I'm smoking.
Oh.
I know I shouldn't smoke.
It's
WTF? What the fuck? You got a link? All right. What's the next subject? Anything?
Hey, I have no TV, so this is where I get all my news.
Let's see what else is going on. They was having a debate in Virginia, I think. Well, I don't know if it was West Virginia or Virginia. There's a little primary thing going on, but I only saw a few minutes of it, so I can't really speak on it. There's a big race. Well, there's a couple of big races going on in South Carolina. And I guess that's why I've been so adamant about voting here lately. Trey Gowdy is retiring. He's not running again. So his seat's up, and there's a buttload of people running for that. Nikki Haley, of course, went to the UN. And I'm guessing the guy was the lieutenant governor. He's the governor now. And they're doing a primary even on the Republican side for his seat. So I know in South Carolina, there's a lot of big elections going on or about to go on. They're doing debates and a lot of ads and stuff like that right now. But all I can say is get out there and vote, people. Don't ever miss an election. Don't ever miss an election. And I know people tell me, oh, voting don't count. It's a rigged system and all that. And I've had people actually come back and tell me, you know what? Trump won and he wasn't supposed to. You may have a point. Get out there and fucking vote.
I think there's enough people that's getting sick of the whole political system now that they're waking up.
Yeah. I mean, they can only rig stuff so far. I'm not saying stuff ain't rigged. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've seen plenty of evidence where there's counties where there were more votes cast than there were people alive. And but if Trump didn't do anything else, he proved that you can turn an election. You can upset the norm. I'm not saying everything's going to turn out all roses and whatever and be great, but voting does make a difference. You can't sit on the couch and tell me that, oh, it's a rigged system and, you know, my vote don't count. Of course it don't count. You didn't get out and fucking vote. You didn't do anything. If enough people got off their butt and went and voted, maybe it would make a difference. It did with Trump.
I mean, actually, I think that's how Obama got elected in the first place. He was a freshman senator, really had never done anything in politics, and people just wanted to see a new face. It's, because he was black, that was also a benefit to him.
Yeah.
But then, boom, what happens? Here comes along Trump, another non-establishment person. Not saying that Obama was establishment.
Yeah.
He's Democrat establishment.
Yeah, and I called that election. before it happened too. I mean, I did win a case of beer over that. I was like, I don't care if bozos or clowns running. If they're on the Democrat ticket, they're going to win. And the guy was like, oh, no, no, no. I was like, I'm telling you, you're going to win. And he did. It might have been the re-election. I was like, hey, you had Romney and Obama. Romney outlawed more guns than Obama. He did his own state health care plan. It's like, what are you voting for? He's actually technically worse than Obama because he outlawed more guns than Obama. But he's a Republican. I got no skin in this game. You know, I mean, I got nothing. Romney outlawed AR-15s in Massachusetts. Obama didn't. So what is my choices to vote for? A guy that outlaws guns, did socialized medicine, and Obama, who did do socialized medicine, but he didn't outlaw any guns. What did I do? I voted third party.
I just really started to really think hard about always having a backup plan to be able to keep everything that I have bought and want to keep. I think it's about getting about to that time to really start thinking serious about it.
Yeah.
Read between the lines.
Yeah. Well, not like I say, but I mean, politics is screwed up. Our country's screwed up. We're in a big mess, but we still have to try. We still have to strive to make a difference. Because in the end, it's our country. Probably always going to be on the losing side, but I'm going to fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give up. I know I've done some videos on voting and apathy and things like that. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Let me change gears just for a minute on that subject. Still same subject. I'm not changing gears too bad. The ones that really get me is if I do a political video or we do a political chat like this, and then I have comments about, well, voting don't count, or they're going to do this, or it's a new world order, or blah blah blah. What, I don't care however they go. I'm like, well, if it doesn't matter, they're going to do whatever the hell they're going to do anyway. Why are you watching this? Why are you listening to me? Why are you here? Me, Daniel, and Blue are here, and the people out there in the audience, the commenters, because we're still trying to save this country. We're still trying to make a difference. But if you come at me with an insult telling me it don't matter, my vote don't count, and whatever, it's like, well, why are you even watching this? If your vote don't matter, if your voice doesn't count, why are you here? Because it don't matter to you. Go buy a Starbucks coffee, go watch a movie, and don't pay attention to this because it don't freaking matter. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't criticize my beliefs in trying to make a difference and then tell me it don't matter, but yet you took the time to watch the fucking video. Why? Why did you watch it? I don't get it. I mean, if you think about it, seriously, I mean, if you think politics don't matter, it's a fixed system, your vote don't count, why watch it? Why do you even turn the news on? Why do you watch the news? It don't matter. Why do you vote or don't vote or criticize me for voting if it don't matter? why go watch cartoons? Because it don't matter. I don't know. That's kind of the way I look at it. I just, that irritates me more than anything when people tell me that my rants or my vote or my whatever don't matter, yet they took the time to watch it, to criticize and try to poke fun at me. And I'm like, it don't fucking matter. Why'd you watch it?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And I know that we always bring up the point where these lifelong politicians have to go. What are the steps that the American people, in your guys' opinion, would actually have to take in order to make term limits? I'm not saying, you every 4 years you get a new person every 4. I mean, if I would say at a max 8 to 12 would be max. And after that 8 to 12, you got to go. Somebody else has to come in. I mean, you're still going to have that party leadership, but there's a chance of getting the underdog in that feels more the way that most Americans do. You know what I mean? Instead of this, oh, you voted me in, I'll retire when I'm. Is there a set retirement limit for any of these guys?
Nope.
So they can be there sleeping during the entire thing because they're 100 years old.
You could actually get voted in as a House of Representatives for 2 years and retire and get paid the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got. One term. One. And you paid the rest of your life.
And I'm not saying I disagree with that. I mean, if the American people vote somebody in for a term, they should get somewhat of a retirement for the entire. I mean, but if you only do 2 years, you only get this much for what you did. If you do 4 years, you get this much. And if you max out at, let's say, a cap of 12 years, you make this much per year. I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like Trey Gowdy, he's retiring after 8 years. If you're and that's 2-year terms, so he got voted 4 times. Senators is a 6-year term. After 2, you should go. 8 to 12 years. I mean, come on, 8 to 12 years. By that time, corruption is more than likely involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got too much power, you got too much voice.
And it's not even your voice or the American voice. It's the voice of the people that are paying to fund you. And that's what I think has more people pissed off than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I hated to see Trey Gowdy say he's going to not run again, because I think he's an awesome guy, I respect the hell out of him saying, you know what, I'm done. I've come up here, done my job. It's time to go. And he's taking some lawyer job and probably going to make a buttload of money, and great. But I had to respect him for it's not a forced term limit, because he would win hands down. Nobody would run against him. He would have it. And I think most people in America know who Trey Gowdy is, if you pay attention to politics. But I gotta give him props. He was like, no, I'm done. This is enough media bombardment against me and my family and all that. I'm good. I'm done. And I really don't mind paying him the rest of his fucking life. That $100,000, $200,000, that whatever,
Well, I think what you're talking about as far as to get term limits in, I mean, you're just going to have to find someone with a strong constitution, and all the different states take a look at your districts and just start electing congressmen and senators. That'll make that happen. But this has got to be something nationwide that's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, the problem is you're asking people that make the laws to cut their own money off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just one of those things that I agree with it and I will support it and push for it or whatever, but it's just one of those things that's probably not going to happen. I mean, when you're talking about Congress, cutting their own money off, it's just like them, voting for their own raises. They get to vote for their own raises. They get to vote for how much retirement they get for themselves. That part kind of got screwed up in the Constitution. Somehow we screwed that up.
So along those lines, voting stuff for themselves, didn't they opt out of Obamacare for themselves, for them and their staff?
Oh yeah, they don't have it. Yeah, they don't have Obamacare. No.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I don't even have Obamacare. So, I mean, that's a tricky slope too. Obamacare was only for those that had to file their own insurance. But what it did is that it affected everybody's insurance because the same companies that was doing Obamacare is doing my insurance. So they're like, oh shit, we got to cover this, this, and this, and we're not getting paid for it. So guess what, TRprepper? We're going to go up on your rates $100 a fucking month to pay for this person's insurance because they can't pay for
fair. That was sarcasm, people. Entitlist mentality.
Yeah.
It's going to ruin this country.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand. I know I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, well, such and such, they didn't have to pay the penalty. And I was like, well, did they have insurance? And they're like, well, yeah. Well, okay, you don't have to pay the penalty, which Trump did away with the penalty. I mean, but most people want insurance of some type, even if it is catastrophic. I mean, which is all I really got. Up until about $5,000, my insurance don't pay a fucking dime. It's just catastrophic insurance. That's all it is.
Well, see, TR, what you need to do is, as soon as this chat's over, go down to your local town, find your heroin dealer, get hooked on that, and then everything's paid for. You don't need to worry about healthcare. Fuck, our money will fucking save you on the side of the road, put you through fucking rehab, pay you for whatever reason. And that's where it's fucked up. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They're rewarding these people for breaking the laws, and the people they're working their whole lives. And when they get messed up, they're not being taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Lou. You just spun me up.
Well, no, I mean, it's, I don't want to say it is what it is, but you got to be shitting me. How many states? I know at least Pennsylvania, we're now under a state of emergency because of the opioid epidemic. When we've been under this state of emergency for at least, I'm going to say 3 to 4 months now. A state of emergency for people. And I know that there's argument. It's not a choice because I had a back injury and I got hooked and it's my doctor's fault. I understand that part of it. However, most of these heroin addicts are not the working individual that had a back injury that got hooked on, the painkillers, and then now they're screwed up. It is the junkie that they have nothing better to do with their life. Why is that? Why is it fair that we have to pay for them? I don't.
Messed up system. Back in the late 60s, early 70s, when hospitals were able to switch over from service to a profit business, is where our healthcare got screwed up. Now it's about profit.
Yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but that was Nixon that actually done that. I'm not saying it was entirely his fault, but he was the one that signed the laws that allowed hospitals to make a profit. And it went from a service industry to a profit industry.
You know, I mean, in all reality, I mean, there's this big push for gun control because of how many billions of deaths, and I say billions of deaths in the United States that it's cost over like the last year. just do what they do with heroin and everything else. Just, outlaw it, make it illegal. Then they can't get it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, so if I do end up with a gun, I'll get Social Security.
What's that?
Instead of doing heroin.
I don't get the philosophies on a lot of.
Well, their numbers never match up, and they give you their numbers off this poll and that poll. It just okay. We're getting back to guns again. Just like the AR-15. I mean, they get back to that, and it's like, oh, it's so terrible. It's like only 300 people a year are killed with a rifle. 35,000 people a year are killed with a car. Okay, so technically, if you really worried about people's lives that much, you would want to be outlawing cars.
Well, hey, I got a law that we need to propose. Propose that cell phones are disabled once you set in a driver's seat of a car.
Yeah.
Have some automatic thing and put in a car that'll kill your cell phone when you start driving.
Yeah. 11 kids a day are killed by driving and texting. 11. There were 17 killed in that one school with AR-15. But within 2 days after that, there were 22 kids killed just from using a cell phone. And they had the big march and all that shit. Oh, we got to outlaw fucking AR-15s and all. It's like, your cell phone, this just killed more of you in the last 2 days than that one incident. Let's talk stats. Let's talk facts. Come on. They don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, there's bigger issues out there that really need to be taken care of other than the Second Amendment as far as taking away from us. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's killing these kids? The cell phones. What's killing kids and young adults and everybody? Heroin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But we're demonized. We're the evil white men. Yeah. We're the evil conservative, hold on to your guns and your Bibles, people.
And texting and driving is illegal in South Carolina. But, yeah, I digress.
I think texting and driving is illegal in almost every state. However, it's, at least in Pennsylvania, it's one of the most bullshit laws ever. I mean, at least in PA, you have to be able to prove. Now, this is what's fucked up. You have to be able to prove the person was texting and driving. So if you're driving down the road and you see somebody with their phone up in front of their face and they're like this and you go by them, I pull around, I stop them. What were you doing? I was changing my MP3 player. I was checking my navigational map. I was doing this. Oh, well, you're good to go. I can't cite you for that. And I can't take your phone from you to see if you may have been texting. It's a bullshit law.
Yeah, it's hard to enforce. I won't say I text and drive, but when I get text, what I'll do is at a red light or a stop sign, my particular phone, I can talk to the phone and it'll send a text. So, not that I'm a safety Sally or whatever, but I'll wait till I get to a stop sign because fuck, I'm only so much coordinated. I'll wait till I'm at a stop sign or a red light or whatever, and I'll read a text, and I'll hit the button, and it'll be like, blah, 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 blah. Send. And I won't check my fucking phone until I get to the next red light or stoplight or home to see the response. Because to be honest with you, I mean, I guess I can't chew bubble gum and walk at the same time. I can't read, drive, and maneuver all at the same time. I'm just like, fuck the phone. I don't give a shit. You know, it's not that important.
I can only imagine what the response is from the person that you send the text back to, the voice text, blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's pretty much what that's damn near what it does, because it does not recognize my country accent. I think whoever wrote the program was from the north, because it usually fucks up the whole thing.
What's a grit? You got them instant grits?
I just
Now,
the whole thing pisses me off with you take one event, you take two events, you take three events, and that's what everybody's beating the bandwagon for. I understand that the reason that you're beating the bandwagon for gun control, for stricter gun laws, is because one person infringed on your right to live. And that's what it is. One crazy son of a bitch with a gun infringed on a bunch of other people's right to live at one point in time. But what they don't look at is the bonuses, the pluses of it. You know, how many, I just saw a story come out this week, and God, I wish I remembered the numbers, to where it said something about, you know, the CDC come out with this great report of how many gun deaths are recorded each year in the United States. However, they don't report how many lives were saved because somebody had a gun and was able to either fight off their attacker or you know, fight off, kill, or just the attacker saw the gun and was like, oh shit, fuck this, I'm gone, and left. You know, the stats are definitely slanted, and it's that way with any type of incident, anything you want to look at, car crashes, gun related deaths, drug related deaths, it's always slanted one way.
I mean, you're talking, you know, these bigger things, you know, when they had those church shootings. I mean, that's affected not only a lot of people's lives. I mean, because this Sunday, I'm going to be the armed guy at the door while the service is going on, basically watching out for everybody else. That's something that's happened recently that's changed my life and, you know, about 120 other people's lives. I mean, except this here, they took common sense. They're going to be a hard target, not an easy target. And so we if we can do that in the churches, come on, people, let's get this stuff going on in the schools. Get a good guy with a gun to protect your kids.
Yeah.
All those rich people have bodyguards. I think your kids and you deserve one too.
Yeah, I know I've talked about this probably too much. I don't know, but I don't get that parents freak out that maybe a teacher's armed or maybe a security guard is armed at their school. What do you think's going to happen? What do you do? And like I said, I know I've said this before. What do you do in public when you see a police officer? Do you freak out? Do you shove your kids under the seat of the car or something like that? Is, oh, holy shit, there's a cop with a gun. There's a gun. There's a gun. There's a gun. Let me hide my kids. Do you do that with a cop?
I do every time I see one.
Yeah. Because every time, I can tell you right now, right up the road, a few miles from my house, if you walk into Walmart, there's a lot of motherfuckers armed, and I'm one of them. If you see me in there, I got a gun on me. I'm perfectly legal. I have my concealed weapon permit. Walmart don't ban me from being there. I bet there's 10 to 20% of the people in there is armed. And your kids are running around in there playing in the toy section with a shitload of armed people. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean it don't exist.
Yeah.
So why would you worry about your kid being in a school that has somebody that has a gun on them? I don't get it. Of course, I grew up in a different time. I'm 50 years old. We played cowboys and Indians, and my dad taught me to shoot a gun when I was just out of diapers, probably. Um, Guns is part of my heritage. I get it's not part of their heritage, but freaking out over a law-abiding citizen that would only use their gun in defense of themselves and others, how is that such a bad thing?
Mm-hmm. And
they're trying to change the culture.
Along those lines. Oh, go ahead, Daniel. Finish it up.
Well, they're trying to change our culture. I mean, my daughter, when she went to a new doctor, a new pediatrician, she had to fill out a form without us, a questionnaire. And one of the things is, are there guns in the house? Do you feel safe? It's like, she came out, it's like, what's up with this? Just leave it blank. Don't even answer it. I mean, you don't have to fill that stuff out. They're just pumping you for information. And it's like, well, even at that age, my daughter kept her guns in her own bedroom, because she was taught how to use them and all the gun safety. If she wasn't safe with guns, I wouldn't let her near them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I just, the point I wanted to make was I just learned this today that the PA Supreme Court, again, this is in Pennsylvania, just came down with a ruling because in Pennsylvania, you're quote unquote not allowed to have a weapon on school grounds. And the case law came from, and I don't know where it was or what the exact circumstances were, but this kid had a pocket knife in school, and the school called the police. The police ended up charging the kid with having a weapon on school property. And the dad came in to talk with the principal and basically got into a heated discussion. It wasn't an argument. It wasn't, F you, I'm going to do, it was just you're wrong because of this. You're wrong because of this. And the dad took a pocket knife out of his pocket in the school, slammed it down on the principal's desk, and was like, I got a knife. I'm on a school property. Is this a weapon? Or are you going to have me charged? Sure as shit, the school called the police. The police came and charged the dad with having a weapon on school property. He took it the whole way up to the state Supreme Court, and the state Supreme Court actually, in my opinion, did a good ruling. They came back and said that because the guy was asked, why did you have the knife in your pocket when you were at school? And the guy's like, well, I went in to talk to the principal about the incident with my kid, but the work that I do, he was a laborer somewhere, and he used his knife to, like strip wires or cut boxes open. And he's like, that's what I have the knife for. So the PA Supreme Court actually came back in favor of the quote unquote defendant and overturned the judgment against him and said that having a weapon on school property was not defined by just having a quote unquote weapon, which left it open for guns, knives, machetes, whatever, as long as you have it for a legal purpose. So my interpretation of that is in the state of Pennsylvania, if I walk into a school as John Q. citizen and I have a gun on my side, I'm not using it. I'm not putting direction toward it. It's there. And I get into a heated argument with, a school official about something that had happened, and the police get called. As long as I can say, I never went for my gun. I never threatened. I never was like, you see this son of a bitch, this is coming at you. And I can say I'm a valid CCW. I'm a valid, open carry, whatever, that now covers you. This most recent PA Supreme Court case covers people for having quote unquote weapons on school grounds, which I think is a step in the right direction.
I agree with that. But the bottom line is, whether I have a gun or a knife on me and I step on school grounds or a movie theater, I don't give a damn what it is. If I don't have ill intent and I'm not there to cause trouble, what does it matter that I got a gun or a knife on me? Because if I go there, whether it's illegal or not, just like any of these school shootings, if you go there to kill people, right off the bat, it's illegal. But what does it matter that it's a gun-free zone and I bring a gun on campus and I start shooting people? That law didn't keep the person that wanted to kill people from doing what they was going to do. Just like in Florida. It doesn't matter that it's a gun-free zone. If you're there to kill people, the gun-free zone didn't do a fucking thing. It just, the hypocrisy, the ignorance, the stupidity is unbelievable.
The only thing it did was kept legal people that were able, up until that law came into existence, to defend themselves.
Yeah.
And once
it took away
once
a person's right.
arrest, good. Good, Daniel.
No, it just made that a gun-free zone is nothing but a soft target, because it takes away everybody's right to defend themselves. And if you're going to go out there and kill people, are you going to go to a gun shop and start blasting there, or are you going to go to some place that's a gun-free zone and rack up your score?
Yeah. Yep.
It makes no sense. I don't get, and like I said, it gets back to the moms and stuff that, oh, we can't have people with guns in the school. Well, the people that's legally carrying them are not there to kill anybody. They don't get it. They just don't get it that the reason I carry a gun is not to shoot somebody. I don't want to shoot anybody. I don't want to kill anybody. But if somebody wants to kill me, I want the chance to fight back.
Yep.
I know, some of you know I'm dating this lady named Sonia, and she's been seeing a lot of stories in Nashville, and it just turns out, luckily he didn't die, but a friend of hers husband, I think it was shot in a robbery at a Waffle House, I think, a Waffle House or some kind of restaurant or something, just here the last couple of days. And I just kind of like, yep, it can happen anytime, anywhere. That's why I carry a gun.
Yep.
There is no safe space. Anybody, some crackhead can come up to you with a knife, a baton, a gun, and hell, they would be more than happy just to get $20 so they can go get another rock.
Yep.
And they're probably blasted out of their mind. They don't understand. They don't get what's going on in life and what they're doing. And I'd be damned. I mean, I'm not dying over some crackhead wanting to get $5 or $10 or $20, and they got a knife and I got nothing.
Yeah, and I think as a parent, this is the way that I look at arming teachers in school. If you don't give the teachers, administration, the opportunity to arm themselves in school, you're automatically fired. You're automatically this, you're automatically that. Let's say I'm that disgruntled teacher. Guess what? You're not going to know I just brought it into the school until it's too goddamn late. If you give the teachers the option of, you have the option to do it safely. We will provide the training for you. People are still going to die regardless on if okay, worst case scenario, you're fired. You bring a gun into school. We don't want to see it. All right, well, now I'm a disgruntled employee because of whatever reason. I got demoted. I got a pay loss. I'm about to lose my job. And I know I've got 2 weeks left. I know no other teacher most likely is going to have a gun in that school because they're going to lose their job. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to take out as many people as I can. People are going to die. A lot of people are going to die. However, TR, Daniel, and we got 5 other people out here in the external chat that are teachers at that same school that have the option to be able to have the gun in school. I'm still hell-bent on destruction. I'm still going to kill people, but not as many. Guaranteed. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah. The whole premise of we're going to make this a gun-free zone, and the only people in a gun-free zone that's going to bring the gun in is the ones that's already going to break the law to start with. They're there to kill people. They're there to maim, hurt, whatever. I know we're preaching to the choir, but it seems so stupid that you think you can put a sign up and keep a criminal from coming in, or somebody that did flip their wig and they're like, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to kill 50 fucking people. That sign is not stopping anybody but the law-abiding citizen. It just don't make sense. None.
I want to bring up an old story back in the one-room schoolhouse days when the kids would walk to school uphill 10 miles both ways. But they used to take, they would have to walk a few miles to get to school every day, and they had their squirrel rifles and, whatever, and some of them had pistols, and they kept them right there at their desk or the gun rack in the back. But there was a guy that came in to kill the teacher at school because, he took the guy's wife, whatever, in the backstory. But an armed guy came in to kill the teacher, and the students shot the guy dead before he could do it. That is way back in society. But, you didn't have the mass shootings then. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong if people are responsible and they're brought and raised in a good moral way and they're going to school. Heck, I made guns and cannons and mortars in high school, and I'm not that old. And we didn't have this problem then. The problem is with our government and society wanting to take punishment away from criminals and just hey, give heroin addicts Social Security. Our society is completely turned upside down on its head. There's my rant.
Well, yeah, we're talking about, but just like they're going after the AR-15 right now. It was developed and produced and put out in production in 1959. 1950 fucking 9.
As an assault.
And now it's a problem?
As an assault.
The AR-15 is not a military weapon.
I know. I'm just saying. Yeah. They're going after the AR-15 that was put out in 1959.
As an assault weapon.
If the AR was such a military-grade weapon, how come the Army doesn't issue out AR-15s instead of M16s and M4s?
Mm-hmm. But even as a semi-automatic, it's 1950 freaking 9. There was 57 Chevys and 50. Think about it. In the 50s, this gun came out in the 50s. It's just like when the Brady Bill deal came out in the 90s, I think it was. It was like, we can't have over, we got to have, restrict everything to 10 rounds. The Browning High Power came out in like 1935 or 9 or something like that. 13 round mag. And it in the 30s. And then all of a sudden in the 80s, it's like, this is so evil, we can't have this and blah, blah. It's like The damn thing's been out for like 60, 70 fucking years, and now it's a problem? Wasn't a problem then. Just like the AR-15. Came out in the 50s, late 50s, and now it's a problem? No, it's not a problem. It's a society problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a people problem. It ain't got a damn thing to do with the guns. I don't know. Like I say, I hate it's like we keep preaching to the choir here. I know, but holy crap. It's the ridiculousness of the whole thing just pisses me off. It does.
I hear that Pennsylvania 2A rally went pretty good. They had about 500 or 600 people show up, and only 30 people showed up, protesting against it.
Yep.
I think that definitely shows in the numbers.
I'm hoping the silent majority will show up again here in November. Because whether people realize it or not, there is an election coming up this year. It may not be for president, but there's elections going on. Some very important elections going on. All right, I'll be right back. When do y'all better start talking?
But I'll ask, just to switch gears a little bit, since we've been stuck on that same subject for a little bit now. Your thoughts on North and South Korea?
Okay, so I think Trump went there and was talking to North Korea, wasn't he?
I don't think he is directly, well, I mean, over the phone, I think he's talked to that Kim Jong-un, whatever, but I don't think there's been any direct meetings. I'm just referring to the South Korean president walking into North Korea, the North Korea president walking into South Korea for the first time in decades.
If they could actually reunite, but let the people vote, that would definitely settle a whole lot of issues in that country. I mean, you got South Korea that's industrialized, people have jobs, people are eating. You've got a psychopath in North Korea, and the people are starving to death. I mean, but I don't see that guy giving it up. I mean, you get that power, you get control of the money, you're gonna keep a hold of it. But if there's a chance that country could reunite and the people get educated to a free market, and especially food for those people in North Korea, that'd be a good thing, and get this whole situation under control. Because North Korea with nukes is nothing but bad news.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well give Iran nukes.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest thing is opening up. I don't want to say, well, it'd be trade deals, it would be lessening sanctions, it'd be doing a whole bunch of things. If North Korea agreed to denuclearize, but with them appearing at this point to bring South Korea and North Korea together and get rid of that, what was it, East and West Germany?
Mm-hmm.
Just became Germany. Yep. I mean, that was a big boost for the people, for the country. And I just wanted to see what your guys' thoughts on that. If this is a ruse to get North and South Korea together to become a powerhouse to maybe defeat the United States at some point in time, or is this way too early in the ball game to even think about something like that?
No, they wouldn't be able to defeat the United States. I mean, North Korea, I guess, can do some damage if they want to get sneaky. I mean, crap! Look what happened with Saudi Arabia and them with three aircraft on 9/11.
Right.
So, but getting together. I mean, Hong Kong was in recent history turned back over to China, and China left it as a free market zone. And just little thing. I mean, heck, most of the things we buy today are made in China. So, China's coming around, and they're a big world power. We got more to worry about than them. But I think China wants North Korea also to cool their jets a little bit, because anything that goes on with North Korea, and if we go to war with them, is actually only going to end up being bad for China.
Right.
It's all about the money.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that maybe we can actually, and yes, my phone is horizontal, god damn it, it's not vertical, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, I think it's a good thing if these two countries can finally, instead of trying to kill each other for stepping foot across the border, to work together. It's I was a little kid whenever the wall came down, because wasn't that Reagan that was Mr. Gorbachev, or not Gorbachev? What the hell was it?
Yeah, Gorbachev.
It was
Yeah, let's go
Gorbachev.
with Gorbachev.
Take down that wall.
Yep.
You know, I remember that. I remember seeing the sledgehammers hitting the wall, but me being, Christ, I don't know what year that was, but I couldn't have been any older than 7 or 8, maybe 9. It didn't have that big of an impact on me to realize what's going on with North and South Korea.
What a lot of people don't realize that North and South Korea are still technically at war. And that's what this is all about, them actually declaring peace. They never declared peace. They're still at war. Now, what happens after this, where they're saying that, hey, we're going to, do all they did was a ceasefire. If they actually declare peace, it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. And, how far it goes, who knows? But whether people want to admit it or not, and like I said, I don't think Trump is perfect, but I think the pressure that Trump has put on China, who is helping fund North Korea, had a lot to do with this. Plus, North Korea's test facility fucking collapsed, so they can't test missiles they can't test bombs anymore. There's a lot goes into it, but I mean, they know that they're economically better getting along with everybody than trying to be the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does it come to fruition? I don't know, but North Korea is a poor ass country, and the sanctions we put upon them. Here's something about sanctions. When we put sanctions on countries, and this is where I have a really big problem with it, it doesn't really affect the government. It does limit them. It does, kind of bind their hands a little bit, but it hurts the people more than it does the government. So the more we stranglehold and put sanctions against a country, all we're doing is starving people out. The people, not the government, but the people. So I kind of got a problem with sanctions. It never really gets the end result that we're looking for. And whether people realize it or not, but when you declare sanctions on a country, you declared war on that country. That's why Japan attacked us in World War II, because we had sanctions against them. Mm-hmm. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, that's what we started when you left the room, TR. Blue started it.
That's okay. But I think it is a good thing that North Korea and South Korea are at least talking. Whether they come to a good conclusion or not, at least they're talking.
Yeah.
This is the first time since they had the ceasefire that they've actually even talked. So
am I wrong on this? But I could have sworn I just saw something. It was one of the news broadcasts to where there's the border, North Korea, South Korea, like the main border. There are rooms on both sides to where each side, up until like maybe 2-3 years ago, would go in, they'd phone the other side, they'd have a conversation about talks or whatever. And for at least like the last 3 years, neither phone has rang. Neither side wanted to talk to the other side to try to resolve anything. So this is a huge step.
Yeah,
And there's a
absolutely.
conference room in the middle.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now it was a really well. They were like they said on the news. I mean, it was the first time North Korea leadership had stepped over on South Korea soil. Period. I mean, even though they done the Olympics here the other day and all that, it still wasn't a North Korean leader step foot on South Korea land. So it was a really, really big deal.
If
Does
they
it
talk,
make that? Does it make anything different? Me going to work tomorrow? No, but in the grand scheme of things, it was a big deal.
if they talk and come back together, where the people in North Korea can get food, just think of the money the United States would save because we wouldn't have to have that base and all those people there anymore.
Yeah,
and that would make China relax also.
and there again, it gets into well, maybe this ain't in the big plan, and that's why you see resistance against it. Because there's powers that be. Here's my conspiracy theory guy coming out of me. There's powers that be that want the world at war.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not that hard to see.
Would that be called the industrial war complex?
Military industrial complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just like us with Syria right now. Why do we want war with Syria? Why did we want war with Libya? Why did we attack Libya? When that all started up, I didn't even realize Libya was still a fucking country. That's how little they were on the radar.
Yeah, they were going. I mean, Gaddafi and stuff. He wanted to have all the oil he sold paid to them in gold.
Yep.
Not the U.S. dollar.
Yep. And boom, we took them out.
Yeah, it's going to get loud here pretty soon. My son's coming up the driveway, and the dogs are going to bark.
It's about we're getting about time to end this anyway. I mean, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, if you start really looking into things and how things went with Iraq, maybe Afghanistan, you can kind of justify that to a certain extent, but Syria, what the hell? Libya. What the crap? Libya is the one that's a left. I mean, holy crap, where did that damn fly ball come from? Because I don't get it still. I don't even know how they still justify it. And damn Hillary's like jumping up and down. Oh, look, we came and we killed him. He died. It's like, why?
Like oil and money. Same thing with with Syria. I mean, that's all about a pipeline. The Syria government is blocking it, and Russia's, and you know, as long as it's blocked, that's going to help Russia out with their money because their major import is natural gas and oil.
Yeah, we wanted to run a pipeline through the middle of Syria. They didn't want it, and then all of a sudden they became our enemy.
Yeah.
And then if you look at our track record, we took Saddam out. Look what happened. We took Gaddafi out. Look what happened. And now we want to take Syria out. I can't even think of his name now. Assam, whatever his name is. It's like those people. He was a freely elected president or prime minister or whatever the hell they call it there. That was a thriving freaking country. Libya was a thriving country. Even under sanctions, it was thriving. I'm not saying Gaddafi was a good guy, but he wasn't that bad of a guy.
Gaddafi, he was put in by the U.S. He was the big stick, the bully, keeping everybody in line.
Yeah.
I mean, the same as that Iranian guy that got thrown out when the Ayatollah took it over.
Yeah.
He was the guy put in by the U.S., and he kept the Muslims under control. He kept the Christians under control. You had, multiple cultures flourishing. But now it's like, hey, this is a money and oil thing. We got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So, and now you look here, along comes ISIS, a CIA brought about program.
Hell, we put Castro in power. And then the next thing you know, there was Russian missiles pointed at the United States. Oh my God! Do you want to talk about collusion of messing with countries? A little, all this crap about Trump and collusion with Russia. Holy crap! How many countries have we literally took out people in power and put our people in? It's mind-boggling. Just freaking mind-boggling. All right, guys. We're right at the 2-hour mark. If y'all want to, unless y'all got some other subjects you want to bring up.
Good to go, man.
All right. I got to work tomorrow, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. And I'll let you guys do an outro. And I hope we kept everybody entertained. I'm sorry I didn't type that much out there in the outro. I mean, in the comment section. When I got a bigger panel, I got more time to do that. So I didn't have a lot of time to do that tonight. I was more involved in the conversation, but I am watching it. But anyway, Blue, would you like to do an outro?
No, the only outro again. Thanks for the invite, and I should be here all month, so we'll be here hopefully every Tuesday. You guys will probably get tired of me, but then again, you'll miss me for the next 4 weeks. So I guess it's a win-loss situation. Again, check out the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. Just go to the channel, check out the video. It's pretty simple, short video. I mean, most people are getting it in within, at a max, I'm like 3 minutes, I think, for most VRs, so it's pretty cool. It's a kick-ass customized sign. You can get your channel art. You can get the Gadsden flag, American flag, whatever you want. We're going to work with it. And it's a big sign. It's not like you're just getting like a little tiny, window sticker. I mean, it's a 23 by 25 sign, I think. So it's huge. And it's great quality. So get in on that. And just one more quick shout out. The guy that I met down at Farmageddon, Silent Bob. He's got a giveaway going on. He's a cool guy. Without a doubt, he's a cool guy. So Silent Bob, just check him out. He's got a giveaway going on. Sub him up, see what he's got going on, and get in on his giveaway as well. But TR, thanks. Daniel, have a good one, and good to see you as always.
Yeah.
And Silent Bob had the loudest AR-15 I've ever heard down at the farm. That pistol, holy crap. You couldn't be within 10 feet of it, and it would make you jump. It was like the damn 50 BMG going off or something. Daniel, would you like to do an outro?
Hey, TR, thanks for having me on. Blue, nice seeing you again. I haven't been able to read the comments because I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties. I'm on my phone right now, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, I took about a week and a half not doing nothing with YouTube. So if you guys think I'm snubbing you, grow some thick skin, okay? There's some things that's happening around here that I just had to take care of. And now that they're under control, I'm going to be up to my antics again. And I would like to do a shout out there also. If you guys don't know him, there's a new player in town. He's called the Crazy Glocksman. And I think he's got a sidekick that used to be called Jan, but he is, High Point Boy. So y'all go check him out. This is Daniel, and I'm out.
Well, thanks, guys, for coming in. I really appreciate it. I thought we had a pretty good conversation. We stayed pretty serious tonight, and that's good. Talked about some good subjects, and not that I claim to be an expert on any of it, but we all got our input. And anyway, until next week, we'll see you later. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming by.